All right, welcome to the Fold Mysteries, where we seek to discover everything that lies between the folds of reality. So, it has been a couple weeks. I'm hoping people start jumping in because, um, a lot of people haven't got to see us for a couple weeks. We've had a lot of stuff going on, things with our own personal lives outside of Bigfoot and the show and everything. And so I know I posted on my Facebook that I would explain my lame yet valid excuse why we weren't able to do a show last week. Um, I got this new job and I got it organized where it's not going to interfere with the show. However, the training for this flowed into the showtime last Thursday. So it's not going to be a problem moving forward. But um, just that 1 week it was really two, but the 1 week last week was due to work. But training's done, and I'm a full blown employee, so it's exciting. And then you also had some stuff going on, so I can't remember what it was the week before last. It feels like it's been
Oh
forever.
man,
what,
so
what's going on with you?
I just need to find a place in the woods because I'm always out in the woods except for like during the week and everything like that. There's probably been 2 weeks that I have not been in the woods on the weekends since April. So yeah, it's what's been going on with me. Okay, so the weekend of July 10th and 11th, that was Friday and Saturday, we were doing the Reamer Bigfoot Festival.
Yes.
I had a great time up there. A lot of people came. Um, Announced our great speaker lineup for this year's conference. Um, got banners made, got flyers made. The kids Bigfoot calling contest. And it's so adorable. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, which is hosting the very first ever Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team Bigfoot Kids Weekend Camp, August 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Um, but more, because there's kids out there that love this subject. I see them at the Reamer Bigfoot Festival.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're doing their Bigfoot hauls, their Bigfoot screams and everything like that. It's so dang adorable. I should send you a clip that we could play maybe next week or something like that.
Next
That'd be
week,
so
totally.
cool. Oh man, I should have thought of that. But yeah, so I recorded some kids doing that stuff, and it's very very cool, and it was such an eye opener that yeah, there's youngins out there that like this stuff, and there's just needs to be somebody that or somebody buddies
Very
that can like
funny.
that lead the way for them. And I know a lot of them know who we are and they look up to us and stuff like that as being Minnesota's longest research team here. We have 26 years now. So
Yeah.
that's where I came up with this, and getting out into the field and having teaching them, not just Bigfooting or research, but also who the four horsemen are of the Bigfoot research community is. Teaching them, proper techniques when it comes out into the field. And what I mean by that is things that we've implemented here for the past 26 years that works. And, also teaching them patience, because it takes a ton of patience being out in the field doing Bigfoot research, because, 9 times out of 10, nothing's going to happen. And if something
Right.
does happen, You can't automatically jump on the, oh, it was done by a Bigfoot. There's a process that needs to be taken place to be a self-disciplined researcher.
Right.
And that's where I am seeing this field of research fail left and right, left and right. Oh, that was a knock. Well, okay, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. So then we got to take things like that into consideration. Well, I have a great example right outside of an impression in the ground that looks like a footprint, and to the untrained eye, like, oh, that's a footprint. I could go over right now with my camera and you would see what looks like an possible left footprint. However, it was dug out by a rabbit because I've had a rabbit staying in there and they dug in the ground. Yeah, they dug in the ground. And so not everything is Bigfoot related. That needs to be drilled in people's heads.
Yeah.
Not every process, X formation is done by a Bigfoot. Not every possible formation is done by, not every art. There's just so much out there that can be explained away that researchers are not doing it, and the adult researchers are definitely not doing it. And I'm seeing that a lot here in Minnesota. And it's really, really sad to see that. I'm not trying to bash anybody, and we always say, oh, if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to help.
Yeah.
People want to go on their own limb and conduct their own research instead of trying to network. And that's where I'm seeing a lot of failing taking place, is that they're not going out and getting somebody who's more experienced opinion, so to speak.
Even if you are experienced, I mean, there's always something to learn. I mean, I learn something different and unique every time I'm out with a new group of researchers, and every time I get the chance to sit down and talk with somebody on the show. So I think that your knowledge in this non-expert field is constantly has the ability to grow. I mean,
right.
So yeah, I think it's great what you're doing, and I think, and I'm sure that you're also teaching safety, field
safety first. Yeah, absolutely. Safety in numbers, even though I do go quite a bit myself, which I
but I mean, that's our own choice. It's better to teach them young to use precautions like
everything. There's so many different things. I mean, so that's what we're going to be doing. And you're right. There's no experts in this field, but there is a lot of experience that comes with time in the field too.
Yes, I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah. Yep. So with that, and then right behind that, there's no expertise, but there is experience, and we know with a lot of experience, a lot of time in the woods, comes knowledge. And that knowledge is only doable by having the experience and time in the woods.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And then after that, we have a month break through September, still hitting the woods, obviously. Yeah. And then October, we have, the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference coming right around the corner. And speaking of conferences coming up right around the corner, somebody's got one going on in Orange, Michigan or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder who that could be. Let me tell you, this conference is really coming together. I am stoked. Okay. I'm so excited. We've got the kids corner. We'll have activities for them to do there. I have a great group of people stepping in to volunteer and help out wherever they can. Bob Limley's been awesome. He's really stepped in to, help me put some things together. And I feel like I'm not alone in this like I did initially. So it's really exciting now to have this team of conference affiliates that have all come together, and we're working together to make it happen. It's going to be awesome. Let me tell you, I'm so stoked. So scan the QR code. Am I pointing in the right direction, Abe?
Yeah, this one right here.
Well, you need to go up because we also have the phone one. So you need to be like this. So scan the QR code. Get your tickets. That'll take you straight through to the ticket leaf. If it does not work for some weird reason, it should work. But if it doesn't, jump on our Facebook page. You can click the link straight from there. You'll see the flyer. It's pinned straight to the top. So tickets are available. We still have vendor spots available. It's going to be kind of a popular event for the locals. So they're going to be coming out to figure out what's going on, and I'm sure they're going to want to buy from the vendor tables. We have a lot of great guests that's coming. We have a lot of great speakers. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really, really excited for it. And I got a countdown on my phone, and it counts down every day. And every day I get more and more anxious and excited and nervous, and like my feelings just start bouncing back and forth. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the roller coaster of all these different emotions. Because last year when we did it, we really try to keep it very humble, and this year we're going quite a bit bigger. So a lot more invested into it, a lot more expectations out of myself for it as well. So I'm just excited for it. Um, so yeah, and I there was something I was going to ask you, but now you were talking about going out in September. So in Ohio, we tend to have like a Bigfoot busy season where they're moving around a lot, and you have a little bit more potential to catch some things going on. So how about in October?
Historically, when in the springtime, May usually things
Really?
start getting more. However, the more activity, so historically May is when things start getting more greener. There's more stuff. However, there's also another historic spike, which is in July until the snow flies, basically.
Yeah,
Yep. So
it's
like
exciting.
right now till August, September, October, hunting seasons and stuff like that, they're moving. They're
Yeah,
absolutely
yes,
moving.
same in Ohio. August through early November ish. Yeah, depending on the weather.
Yeah, yeah, and just with the data that I've collected through the internet on different research websites that are out there that are tracking stuff like that. The data also shows that too. So there's a collaboration and a correlation um, with months and stuff too, which is really
Yeah,
really cool to see. And that's why I don't know how many times I've said this, but I've been on their heels. I'm trying to be on their toes, and so yeah, and that's why research and doing your research is it's crucial. Looking
yeah,
back and seeing when and what month has more compared to the other month and stuff like that. It's not
yeah,
just a lot of people think that research is just going out there and banging on trees, hooting and hollering.
yeah,
No, it's not. And hopefully you get a reply, but no, it's not. It's also looking at what you collected data wise and going over that from time to time to see if there is a pattern, what their next move would be, what month is the more active month and stuff like
yeah,
that. And besides that, in the area where the sightings have taken place, water sources, berries, foods, different other food sources and stuff like that too. There's just so much, and we got to take the weather because and the phase of the moon because all of this could come into play. We know different moon phases affect different things, even the water, the tide of the waters and stuff like that, even
hmm
fishing sometimes too, along with barometric pressure.
yeah.
So
I mean, it can even have an effect on people because, I mean, I
absolutely,
know that they say scientifically there is no proof. However, people who are first responders, police officers, and things like
yeah,
that,
yep,
they'll tell you that on a full moon or, especially on the full moon, that they get this ramp up and these calls that they respond to, and the calls are stranger
mm-hmm.
than they typically are. So, I mean, I know there's no scientific proof, but I mean, you got all of these. It's kind of like Bigfoot. You got all these witnesses that say
Mm-hmm.
otherwise. So,
Right, right. And what would be really cool if they took a group of people, different walks of life, and on a full moon they pulled their blood and just kind of see what their blood was doing during the full moon, or their metachlorians. That's a Jedi term.
oh yeah,
Just
that's
kind of see,
true.
on how their body's reacting during a full moon, medically or blood wise or something like that.
Yeah,
Electric activity or something like that. It'd be kind of cool to see something like
that would be. That's actually a really cool idea.
that.
That's a
I'm
really
geeking
cool
out over
idea.
here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And speaking of scientific stuff like that, when into the Bigfoot world, another thing that I'm seeing is the lack of that. And a lot of that has to do because the devices people just don't have. For instance, a good example would be infrasound. A lot of people claim to have these effects when it's infrasound.
hmm
possibly being done, or being blasted, or blasted, or zapped, or whatever you want to call it with infrasound. What we do know of infrasound, it is a sound wave that is below the human hearing range at about 20 decibels or lower, and it gives the body some effects. However, when we're out, and there are cats that can do it, pachyderms that can do it, mammals, cats, whales can even do it, and for long distances, stuff like that. However, when we're looking at this creature, Bigfoot, a primate, a hominid or hominoid, however you want to class it, a great ape, it is what it is. There's no data that has been produced, at least to my knowledge, that suggests that known hominids, hominoids, primates, whatever you want to call them, can produce infrasound. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that scientific data is not there, and it's hard as and when I'm hearing people say, "Oh, I was zapped because I had this effect," and everything like that. I had that effect just this past Sunday while I was out in the field with Pops checking out a location. And the thing is, it was the same area where we filmed Animal Planet's Finding Bigfoot 10 years ago, and we were just sitting by a campfire, and then my heart just started going real fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So, however, I don't know what it is, but I know I can say that it was not infrasound. Because I've had these symptoms, panic attacks before, which is really weird because I was totally fine, and out of the blue with this started happening.
Yeah.
Rapid heart rate, a little weak and shaky in the legs. And I said, Pops, I'm not feeling so good right now. The last time I had something like that happen was actually Saturday, the 4th of July, when me and my brother were at the beach waiting to watch the fireworks. And that started happening just from sitting down. However, which is really odd because I did know a possible correlation is that day I had some really greasy food. So diet and things like that can also come into play with the opening and the restriction of blood vessels. For instance, if your beets is full of nitric oxide, good nitric oxide helps blood circulation. Aspirin is a good anticoagulant to help from blood clotting and stuff like that. So I noticed that, I haven't been doing my beet routine and stuff like that for a while. And then, hey, okay, maybe just my blood's circulating slower or something like that. So, and plus the greasy food, that's just, so.
Yeah, I will say I'm not going to discount the zapping. Even though I personally can't say I've experienced it myself, I'm not going to discount it because I feel like that is a real possibility. I do, however, I agree with you that there's a lot of other situations that can create that sort of internal phenomena and create confusion. But I think that if you know that you have some of these, like you said, you have anxiety sometimes, you have that, and you can recognize it. But you're not somebody who sees Bigfoot and everything versus somebody who does have anxiety issues, and they go out and they have an anxiety problem when they're out there. They do see Bigfoot and everything. They might be more willing to attribute it to Bigfoot. But I do think that there is a real possibility for that type of thing to happen to somebody. So I'm personally, I don't want to discount it at this point. Because we not only can we not prove it, but we also can't disprove it. And I think that my favorite saying is a closed mind only knows a small piece of the truth. So when you close those doors and you're understanding, and I'm not saying you're looking at other things from different perspectives, which is always great to do. But some people might close those doors and then discount a lot of really great experiences because of saying they
closed doors,
and then they're missing out on a piece of the truth somewhere in there. So I always, if I can't disprove it, I don't discount it. But I always look at things also with a skeptical eye. But you file it away because that's interesting.
Exactly.
File it away, and if it continues to come up, then it's something to start paying attention to.
Right.
The
Absolutely.
problem I think that a lot of researchers are having today, which is the same thing that opens up a lot of our great resources for online research, is also the fact that other people are able to see these stories that people tell, and then they can internalize it and recreate it into their own. So then the patterns don't become quite as trustworthy
Yeah.
because we have the internet out there feeding all this information to people. So
Mhm.
it's not like the way it used to be when
No.
you could say, you know, 50 years ago, you could say, well, I talked to 10 people in 10 different states and they all described very similar things. Well, now we have the internet. So all the information's already out there, typically, anyway. So, I mean, it's really hard to look for patterns now unless you can really dive deep into the person's life, their lifestyle, their psyche, and basically their trustworthiness. I mean, um, and then you can kind of, put more, lean more into their experience a little harder.
Right. Yeah. Well said. Well said. And a lot of, and you're right. A lot of things that are out there with this subject, people absorb it. So it's in their mind. It's already on their back burner. So if something happens, then they're already jumping like, oh, it has to be that. It has to be that. That happened to that person. You know, it's not everything is Bigfoot. Not everything
Right.
is Bigfoot. A lot of times people always want something to happen. So instead of taking an objective step back, a scientific step back, and putting themselves away from it and looking at the whole picture, they're just bam, oh, there's a Bigfoot around. My heart's going fast, or
Yeah.
I feel weird, I think I'm being blasted or zapped or whatever you want to call it, you know. Take a step back and get
Yeah.
out of there. Yeah.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I've been out. Well, I can't probably tell you because I typically don't go out with them repeatedly. There's been a few researchers I've been out with where, especially when they're more active, like in the fall time, you got acorns falling from the tree, you got dry branches falling from the
Yeah.
tree, and they're like, "Did you hear that rock? We just got a rock thrown at us." And I'm like, "I heard every branch that acorn hit on the way down."
Yes.
Like, no, you gotta
Yep.
take a step back, stop being so
Yeah,
excited and
absolutely.
emotional, like you said.
Right, right. And that's where I'm starting to see this community not doing. They're not taking that objective step back when things are happening.
Hmm.
They're jumping right on the bandwagon, like as you mentioned. Oh, we just got a rock. Oh, that was a stick. It's
Yeah.
no, it's not. You guys just take a step back, think. Breathe, collect yourself, get your mind right. Whatever anybody's got to do to be objective about your own situations.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I
And
want
one of
to.
the oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I want to break off just for a couple seconds. We'll get back on that, but I want to say hey to my chat. Text something, say hi, let us know you're here. I see quite a few people in here. Just say hi. Let us know that you're in here watching, and so we can chat. You can ask questions because right now it's just we're just kind of discussing some things with Bigfoot, and we might delve into some other things as well. So jump in the chat, say hi, don't be shy, and yeah. So I'll let you keep going. I'm sorry, I just wanted to break off and tell
No, I'm
everybody that
glad.
because we got people here. Nobody's
It
talking
is
to us.
fun. Hey, I see a few in the chat room here on. Are we also streaming on Facebook too?
Yes, we are. I get both the Facebook and the YouTube chats as soon as
All
they come
right.
through.
Yay! Well, glad everybody showed up. We missed you guys.
Yeah, been 2 weeks. Two weeks too long.
Two. No.
You're throwing
That
some
counts.
age out there, Abe.
Sesame Street. Yeah, yeah.
What are you
Very
doing?
nostalgic. Um, but yeah, I just think that people just need to take a step back and
Yeah.
not just jump on oh, this was done by a Bigfoot. That formation was done by a Bigfoot. Acorn fell straight down and it was thrown by a Bigfoot. There's differences, and there's just a lot of less self discipline in this field. And one of the one of the biggest things that you can do scientifically is observe, have good observation. Uh,
Yes.
you know, and the more observant you are, and being self-disciplined and training yourself to be self-disciplined and observant, that's what's helped me in the past 26 years of taking a step back and looking at my own possibilities when it comes to a possible impression with an objective eye. Um, I think that's one of the other things that, as being a field researcher, is just I scrutinize my own things, my own possibilities, and I always go like, well, what could have done it, before I say, well, maybe it was done by a Bigfoot. Um,
Right.
there's pictures floating around of people walking in costumes, and wearing costumes. Like this one just surfaced up the other day, as a matter of fact, and this guy posted it in a group. I'm like, clearly that's a costume. That's not a Bigfoot. It's a costume. He goes, well, I could see where it looked like a costume, and yeah, it looks like a freaking costume to me. And just how it's hanging off the buttocks, running down the leg, the angle of the leg, definitely within. Look at that hand, the claws. Look how the hand is hanging down there, the glove on claws. You know, it's
Right.
yeah, it's a costume, and they were like, oh, like whatever, you guys, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just to be a credible researcher. Use a couple terminologies. Say possible. Don't ever make direct claims saying it is, but use the word possible. That would help everybody out. So, um,
Yeah. I agree. Speaking of interesting phenomena that is a lot of people would probably discount, and I'll get a drum roll for this. I haven't talked about this phenomenon in a while.
you've been chomping at the bits for the past
I've
2 weeks,
been
haven't
waiting. Got my soundboard all set up here. I got some more sounds. I'm gonna have fun
Love
tonight.
it. Oh man.
So another phenomena that I can't discount because I personally have seen it. It really is happening, but a lot of people connect this to Bigfoot. Now, there's a lot of theories out there, and I love theories. I love ideas. I love these wild sort of folklore connections. You're gonna roll your eyes, but I'm just gonna say a lot of people, a lot of people say it could be Bigfoot if he was interdimensional form of travel, and it is these floating light balls in the woods that are a lot of people attribute it to looking like a flashlight. They could be green, they could be blue, they could be yellow or orange, any version of that. I have recorded it a few times, 3 different times. I've recorded this strange light in the woods, and it looks like it flickers or it bounces, like somebody's walking with a flashlight or a lantern. And it's actually a phenomenon that's been going on a very long time, pre-flashlight. There's several names for it. There's ignis fatuus, which is Latin for fire, some floating fire or something like that. Fairy lights, Min lights, which is Australia. That's what they've named it, Min lights. And then it's also where the story of the jack-o'-lantern even came from. So, it's like one of those folklore legends that came from a real phenomena that people were seeing was these floating lights in the woods. And scientists have tried to find an explanation for it, and often they blame it on bog lights. They call them bog lights, and that's in swampy areas where this, the foliage and stuff starts to decompose and creates a gas. And when this gas touches air, it ignites and then it goes out. They try to blame bog lights. However, there's a huge problem with that idea is that bog lights are not self-sustaining. They only last for a quick amount of time. It's very quick. And then other people want to blame ball lightning. Well, ball lightning isn't even a scientifically proven thing either. I mean, they haven't been able to really research ball lightning. They know they've had a lot of people that have explained it and talked about it. However, they can't prove that either. So, um, what are these? What are these lights that are floating around the woods? And they're often connected to, Bigfoot areas. It's interesting. Me personally, I don't necessarily connect it with Bigfoot. I think it could be its own separate phenomena. But I do think it's interesting that it's often seen in areas where Bigfoot is often reported. So interesting.
You're absolutely right. And if I'm to be completely transparent and honest, I too have seen these lights. It was 22 years ago. No, really? Actually, yeah, in 2002, when we went back to Ohio. There was something across the road, this creek, and it was like a blue, greenish, turquoise color. And it was very, very small. And almost, yeah, it was just weird. At first, we thought it was eye shine because it was high. But maybe it was. Come to think about it. At any rate, but I know another time in Ohio at Salt Fork, me and a colleague, Mike Isardi, we were side by side and we were looking up and we're like, holy smokes, what is that? It's a light up there. And it just seemed to be like floating. However, it was during the OBC at that time, and there could have probably been somebody up there. But what you're also describing, these fog lights, are coming in different colors too. They're not just one color,
Right.
So and another thing is, yeah, there's they are in areas where there has been Bigfoot activity and stuff too.
Yeah.
Are they? I would have to agree with you. They might be their own phenomenon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe Sasquatch is curious. I do believe that Bigfoot is a curious creature, and yes. I mean, if they're seeing these things, I mean, maybe that's what's drawing the Bigfoot in is their curiosity. Maybe it's some sort of energy that Bigfoot is able to pick up on in that area that is also creating these lights. So it's interesting. There's a lot of different theories and ideas you could play around with it, and that's what I love.
I didn't roll my eyes, did I?
No. Oh wait, I thought I just saw it.
You did. I did that one on purpose. But yeah, I mean, and you're absolutely right. There's a bunch of different things ideas and different theories and stuff like that. But one of the things that I like is to, when it comes to a theory, try to apply it out in the field, and if it works, cool, great, make a note of it. Yeah. And if it's repeatable, then you got something going on. That's science right there too.
Yeah. But then it also begs the question, how could you incorporate that into the research? Because, I mean, would you try to mimic one of those lights and see what happens? Like, how would you incorporate that, you personally, in the field?
I guess, with different colored balloons.
That's interesting. With like glow sticks in them?
Yeah, with a little
cool.
With a clear glow stick, so you can get the different colored balloons, and the clear glow stick, you break it in there and you put it in there.
We do that during ghost hunting too.
Okay. What makes me wonder though is if there is any kind of a sound that's associated with these lights that the Bigfoot may also hear that tracks them too. So that would be maybe the next step is hopefully, if at all possible, recording something when it comes to a light and amplifying the sound to see if there's any kind of sound associated with that light.
Yeah. Every report I've ever heard of it being told to me or I've seen in my research or I personally have experienced, there's never any sound associated with these things. However, it doesn't mean that we're not able to pick up on it, but there is a sound associated with it. So.
Yep. Absolutely. It could be, above or below our hearing range. However, if it was below our hearing range, you would think some people would have some kind of effect. such as infrasonic effects, like I
Yeah.
mentioned, the same as anxiety effect. So I wonder if it's in the ultrasonic range.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
It is interesting. It definitely is. And I want to jump backwards real quick because I don't want people to think I'm totally bonkers. And well,
I almost rolled my eyes.
because I did say maybe there's an energy that is creating these things in the areas. And maybe Bigfoot is attracted to that energy and ends up in those areas due to the energy in the area. Now, there are earth energies that are put out. It's how birds migrate. It's how animals find their way when they're migrating, and their scientists don't understand that phenomena. What helps them know where to go and when? Um, so there is a possibility it is a form of earth energy in different areas at different times of the year, and animals are able to pick up on it. I'm not comparing Bigfoot to an animal, but he does live in the woods. It does live in the woods. So certainly they're able to pick up on things that help them to survive. And maybe that's one of them. That's what I meant by maybe they're attracted to some sort of energy that's also creating this phenomenon.
You're right. Migration, monarchs, um, avian birds, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Interesting concept. Absolutely. It's really hard to say, especially with the data that's already presented out there when it comes to hominology or homonism.
Right.
Homonism.
Exactly.
That's a new one.
Here, let's hold on. That word.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. So interestingly enough, we did actually have a guest scheduled for tonight, but it seems like there maybe something's going on. So that's why we're just on here talking about a variety of different topics. So if there's anything that you're very curious about, me personally, I delve into everything odd and mysterious. I mean, that's the whole basis of the show. I know you are more heavily the Bigfoot guy. However, you said yourself you've had some ignis fatuus experiences yourself. So if anybody has any questions for any of us, just type it in the chat. We will answer it. But in the meantime, we'll just keep talking about a variety of different things, our own research, our own theories, our own investigative techniques, whatever we decide to touch on. So I just want to make sure that everybody in the chat knows you can join in this conversation. It is live. So, yes. I stumped the Abe. That never happens. You never run out of stuff to say.
No, that's thank you. But
we can dive into some of I know that a lot of people on here typically come on for the Bigfoot stuff, but I mean, I personally have had some UFO stuff.
Same here.
So, why don't you touch on yours? Because this is something I don't know about, and then I'll kind of touch on mine.
So, I mean, yeah, I have seen a UFO. I have no problem saying I've seen a UFO. As a matter of fact, if you think Earth is the only planet, the only rock out in not just the galaxy, but in the universe that has light, that's ignorant if you think. That's ignorant thinking. We're not the only one out here. We may be a little less advanced, in some cases where we can't travel as fast yet. But I do absolutely think that there is some kind of extraterrestrials beyond Earth. There's other life forms out there that have the ability to travel. And what I have seen was on a reservation up in northern Minnesota with my team of guys. And we're like, and it's happened on more than one occasion. And we're looking at it, and we're like, hey, what's that thing? It's kind of bouncing around, and it shoots over here, bounces and shoots over here. My team member, Joel Sturgis, matter of fact, I think he may have touched on this too when he was a guest on the show a little while back. They grabbed a flashlight and started doing this and sending codes and stuff like that. Gosh, did it get brighter and then dim? Almost like it was a form of communication. any rate, we've seen this thing. I don't recall if it got brighter again. It may have, may not have. But that was one occasion. Another one was last July. We had the same thing happen in a different research area too. Um, yeah, and we're seeing things just kind of traveling and shooting off in different directions. So
Interesting.
it's yeah, it's just some crazy things that that's out there.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. That's really cool. I was not aware of that about you, so I'm glad that you talked about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You just looked into the fold of my reality.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Yeah. What do you think? Now I'll get into mine momentarily, but just a quick question for you. What do you think about the Phoenix Lights?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a pretty cool thing. I mean, like I said, I think that's legit. I do.
Oh yeah.
Just the way that they
Well,
showed up and started lighting up. Yeah.
I wonder if I don't know if it's still going on.
Still going on? I don't know if it is. I heard of that one time.
Oh no, that was the mass sighting. What's the one I'm thinking of where periodically all these lights start going off? And it's in this one specific area. Yeah, the Phoenix Lights, that was just a mass sighting that happened in 1997. I thought for sure it was still going on. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to have to do some research and come back to that because I'm pretty sure there's an area where you can go and this weird light phenomena happens, but it's periodically and it has no connection to any kind of weather phenomena or time of the year. It's just very random.
Huh.
People used to go there, visit, and check them out. I'll have to look into that. I'll get back to that. But in the meantime, I've seen a few UFOs, potentially a fourth that I caught on camera, but I don't really bring that up because it was so far away, and it was just this orbing light in the sky over a tree line off in the distance. So it was probably a good 5-10 acres away. In this field above this tree line, but it was just orbing light, and it orbed until its orb got smaller and smaller and smaller. That's a potential fourth. One of my UAPs, whatever you want to call it, was like the little tic tac. It's like a little tic tac shape in the sky. It was pretty high in the sky, pretty high, and I saw it with my best friend, my best friend's mom, and then me. We're all standing in the field, and my generation, we spent a lot of time outside, so we were just standing in the field, just talking. And I look up, and there's this thing in the sky, and everybody's watching it, and it's just kind of bobbing up and down, doing this, and it wasn't so far away that you couldn't tell that there was like a sheen where the sunlight was hitting it, so you could tell it was very metallic. Because the sun was on this side of it, and you could see the sheen, the light shining off the side of it.
Okay.
And it was tic tac shaped, and my friend kept saying it was a blimp. It's a blimp. It's a blimp. And I was like, blimps don't go up that high. They cannot go up that high. That's not the way it works. And my friend's mom was like, that is so weird. That's a UFO. And so we watch it for a really long time until it kind of disappears. But I think what happened was the clouds came in and it just kind of disappeared into the clouds. Pretty sure that's what happened. But my friend was like, I swear it disappeared. And I'm like, I think it just went into clouds. And then the other one that I saw, there was this massive orange globe of light. And I thought it was probably not, it was like an eighth of a mile down. There was this church. And I could see it from my front porch. And it looked like it was above this church. And I remember thinking, that is the strangest decoration for a church, because it was around Halloween. I thought they put a big pumpkin out. And I'm like, how are they getting that pumpkin to stay in the air? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm trying to figure out, I have a very mechanical brain. I'm trying to figure out if it's on stands or if it got it kind of hanging. And I finally had settled on it's like all these little wires holding it up like this. And as I'm watching it, I realized, wait, it's getting smaller. It's getting smaller. And I thought it was a weird decoration for a church to have, anyways. They don't really celebrate Halloween, so not like that, anyways. And I watch it, and it keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's nothing. And we had cell phones then, but the cell phone camera quality was pretty garbage.
Yeah,
and I always fear that when I walk away from something like that, I'm gonna miss how it disappeared. I was like, it's gonna go away, but I want to see how it goes away. So I didn't go in and get my phone camera. But I told the kid's dad about it the very next morning because he worked nights, and he was like, I was on my way home from work, and on the radio, they were talking about all these sightings of these orange balls in the sky. And I was like, that's crazy. That's what I saw. But it was so huge. It was so low to the ground that I thought it was a Halloween decoration.
Oh.
It was wild. And then the third one was a mass sighting. It hovered over my apartment complex when I was a teenager. And it was the typical black V shape. And it had all these lights on it. It was a daytime sighting. And there was a bunch of people coming out of their apartments. We were all watching it. Me, my friend's mom. This all happened, like, most of my sightings happened around the time that there was this boom of UAPs that were spotted. I believe it was maybe 1997-ish, 96, 97. It was the UAP boom. And that's when we saw this, mass sighting of this thing. And then it was silent, didn't make any noise. And then it just shot up into the air and was gone. And there was a lot of people that saw it. So this is pretty cool. But 3 definite UAPs, 1 maybe. 1 additional maybe.
Oh my gosh. I'm talking with Sturgis here, Joel Sturgis. And from when I was telling you, he put his hand over the flashlight. He goes, it flashed the same pattern because he would go like that and hold it. And this thing would flash the same thing. And it was getting so bright and dim, like in flashing and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And
So is he watching?
Yeah. What's that?
Is he watching right now?
No, he's not. I texted him, unfortunately.
That's wild.
And he goes, pretty crazy stuff. Haven't seen that since. Oh, remember, it followed us to the second lockdown about 10 miles away. So I don't remember that. I said, did it? Or was it? I was going to text reply back. Did it follow us? Or was it so high that it looks like it followed us?
Yeah. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Mike.
Michael says hello.
Hello, Mike. Good day.
So we're kind of doing like an open mic style. So if there's anything you want to talk to us about, ask us about, or have us cover a topic you want us to cover, just say it in the chat. But yeah, we're just talking about UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call it. Interesting stuff. So you believe that they could potentially be aliens from another world? Hey, is that right?
What? You think what?
Hold on. I need a sound effect for that. I need to hold on. You're arrested.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No. I believe that Bigfoot is from Earth, that it's a flesh and blood creature.
Not Bigfoot. You believe that we were talking about UAPs, UFOs.
Okay, yeah, that's why you said you believe Bigfoot is from.
No.
Okay.
Did I say Bigfoot? I did. So you
that's why I was like,
aliens.
what?
So you believe there are aliens that could come from another world?
Yeah. I keep my mind open. I'm not closed-minded. And I say that because there are things I don't know. And I admit that. I don't know everything. Heck.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the greatest mysteries of this world is women. So,
we're a mystery to ourselves as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I bet. I can just see the hate mail coming into our Facebook.
Oh my God.
You think, but no, it's take it lighthearted. Yeah.
So you believe
I do.
in
I do.
aliens.
I do believe in aliens.
But you don't believe that Bigfoot is an alien.
I don't think we have a lot of the.
And I'm not saying he is.
I'm not saying. Okay, well, I'm not saying that Bigfoot, based on the data. Again, you got to go look at the data that we have presented towards us.
Yeah.
And we're talking about data such as skeletal remains of different hominid species, skeletal remains of different Homo species, great ape species. It all, suggests that it is of this world.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a great point to bring up, the fact that there are some huge similarities between our great apes, Gigantopithecus. Did I say that right? Gigantopithecus. Pithecus. Pithecus. Gigantopithecus. Yes. There are enough similarities, and we know that those are obviously from Earth, to make that safe assumption that so is Bigfoot. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And, it has the characteristics and mannerisms of what we know of great apes, primates, and Homo sapiens too.
Yeah.
That it would only make sense of it being of this world, part of this world.
Right.
What would really make me itch my mind if we were totally wrong, that'd be a whole paradigm shift. But based on what we know of known hominids, homos, and stuff like that, are the tools. And we're noticing that the same tools are being utilized, sticks, rocks, and stuff like that, to break open shells and for communication purposes.
Yeah.
And to show aggravation, like shaking up trees and stuff like that, are being displayed by Bigfoot too.
Yeah. There's a lot of different, because you're bringing up the whole idea of tools. There's quite a few people out there that believe that Bigfoot are making tools. But I think you and I are in the same belief bucket, as I think any tools they use are something that already is there, available, rather than, putting together, a hammer using twine and a rock and a stick. I don't think that that's something that they are doing or even would do, because the whole purpose is to live a very segregated life, and you're leaving all these trails behind with tools. It's not very elusive.
With that being said, from what we know of tribes throughout the world, and weaving, making cordage and weaving and taking plant matter and weaving that, you would think that if that was the case, he's smart enough to make clothing for themselves like other tribes have.
Yeah.
Or even arrowheads, for that example, spears and stuff like that. But from what witnesses have seen, they're not using that. They may use a rock to hit a deer, but basically what I've heard, and from what witnesses have said, what they've observed, is that they'll hunt a deer in relays until they tire the deer out. And they'll come up and they'll have a crushing blow to the spine or break the legs and snap the neck back, tear it on the sides, put up the deer on the sides, rip it open, probably with a thick fingernail or something like that, maybe a sharp rock or so, down the center, and move out the entrails and take the hearts and the livers and stuff.
Right.
And that's what people have observed. As far as sophisticated tools as making a hatchet or something like that, chopping down trees, I don't think they need to chop down a tree.
I think they can probably do that with brute force,
Exactly. They got their Flintstone vitamins that they take, alien stuff like that. And snap trees in half, and push them right on over, or sometimes even maybe, it's I think they live a really Hugo lifestyle, a very humbling lifestyle.
Yeah. When we were talking about the twine and stuff like that and not creating, tools, Tobe Johnson, I'm sure you're familiar with him.
Oh, I know Tobe. Yep.
He's just awesome guy. He finds these very unique things. He's Oregon, right?
Yes.
Out in Oregon. And they're like these really intricately woven branches and vines and stuff like that. And they're, sometimes they're shaped like, reminds me of the bubble blowers, but
okay, yeah.
you know what I mean?
I know
And
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, and it's very interesting. And he finds them, and he has a lot of different theories. I think he's a lot like me, and he doesn't really want to settle on any
Mm-hmm.
one thing if he can't prove it.
Mm-hmm.
But he connects these to Bigfoot, and I think that's super interesting.
Yes, I agree.
So, but then you also have the phenomena of ground nests,
Right.
which are interwoven,
Yes. Yep.
huge branches of, in particular, a certain type of tree species.
Mm-hmm.
So they are doing certain things, but tools we have not yet seen any real tool creation from these things. So,
Right.
um, people will say, "Oh, yeah, I found this. It's a, so on and so forth." But I mean, it's so few and far between that I just don't think it's a real thing that's happening. So, um, but I do find that the things that Tobe Johnson finds in the woods very, very, very interesting. I find the ground nest very interesting as well. It's very curious to me.
I totally agree with you. And I love that because it was also on Expedition Bigfoot where they came across these things on the ground too.
Yeah.
So yeah. And for something like that to happen, it takes these things right here, to be able to do that kind of weave. When I was talking about weaving, I was thinking more along the lines of a loom and pushing it down and be able to make.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, but yes, and just for to correct myself in the back pedal there, I do
Yeah.
think that they can weave, which we have seen if the nests are indeed done and other formations are done. I've seen weaving myself with trees. Oh my gosh, my hair just standing.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen
Yeah,
baby trees that are far spaced apart from each other and they're twisted like this.
right.
And it's like, yeah, they could have grown like that, but they're so far apart in the ground that how would one got to the other and then they just wove themselves together? That's,
Hmm.
that, I mean, if a tree's going to grow together, it's going to grow together in this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction. They're going to literally fuse
Yeah.
rather than being twisted together. So I have seen that myself in the woods as well, but it's still trees that are still in the ground.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And speaking of trees, I mean, here we are. We can go on and on with trees with that great segue that you just said
Yeah.
of different formations and stuff like that. That I've found. Oh my gosh! I mean, that are possibly made. But what I am finding, it has to be made by hands. That's just about
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's the stuff I'm documenting. I'm not
Yeah.
documenting X formations. I'm not documenting arches because they're storm
I think
damaged.
arches are still pretty cool though. To be honest with
Well,
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, here in Minnesota, we get a lot of snow, and sometimes we call it snow loading. That's going to bend a tree down from the tip and keep it.
Yeah.
But if
But
I find it,
they pop back up after some
sometimes,
rain and stuff.
sometimes,
Okay.
the thing is that if there is a arch, which is the tip is buried in the ground, then I'm documenting that. If there's an
Yeah.
arch that has like another tree to keep it from popping back up, then I'm documenting that. But I'm not just
Yeah.
going to take a picture of a tree that's bent over. There has to
Yeah.
be some more than just being bent over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Arches are still pretty intriguing to me. X formations, not so much. I mean, because that can happen so often
Oh, I see
naturally.
left and right.
It's
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
The TP structures. I mean, when one branch falls, another branch falls on top of that, and then you get them, and then they start falling. You get these TP structures that happen naturally. So unless they're huge, like massive, and there's no real reason for them to have created naturally.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to TP structures so much anymore either.
Mm.
The more well versed you get out in being out in the woods, and I've spent pretty much my whole life in the woods, the more able you are in recognizing natural events, and being able to pick apart things to tell if it was a natural thing or not. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that it's interesting. And speaking of trees, just a side note, totally off the topic of Bigfoot. I was in this area researching. It was a Bigfoot location, but I found the strangest thing that I saw. And I saw in the woods there was these huge trees that all grew into each other, and it formed like this open area, and it was like all the trees are coming into this one circle, and they were all growing like at arches,
Wow.
and they were huge trees, and this went on for pretty much the whole woods. Like they were all, and the further away they got from this circle, the more they stood up straight. And I was like, okay, so if there,
That's
which,
way cool.
if there is geomagnetic lines, and I do believe that there is, but I believe that they change. I don't think you can really trace them as people may say you can. This would be it. This would be one of them, because all of these trees are growing into this one spot. It was just the coolest thing ever. And I took lots of pictures of it. And unfortunately, the pictures, it's hard to get depth and angle and everything else. So you can really appreciate what I was seeing in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just so cool. It was so cool.
Mm-hmm. No, it sounds very enchanting, like an enchanted.
Yes. I stood in the circle and I was like, do I feel anything? I didn't, but I tried.
No.
It was really cool, though.
Just start meditating, Oh my gosh, that's funny. I wish I could see something like that. It's really, really cool.
It was so cool. It's actually, the place is not far from where I am now. It's maybe 35 minutes from me where I am now. So I should go back, check it out, see if it still is like that, or if they've grown straighter since I saw that.
Yeah.
I wonder what could cause that. And, and a lot of the smaller trees that were more towards the center, like it was more open, but there was a few smaller baby trees. They all grew in a swirl.
Whoa!
Yeah, they all grew in a swirl.
There has to be some kind of energy going on there.
There's something. And the Earth does have a geomagnetic field.
Yeah.
And it is constantly shifting and changing. But, certainly that could play a part in foliage growth. I mean, if it's hitting one area really hard for an extended period of time, in my head, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Blind Frog Ranch stuff.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's different energies with the magnetic field and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's proven. It's just, I know there is too. But that would be really kind of cool how that energy cycles, I guess you could say, and the trees just kind of form to that cycle.
I need to go back and find my pictures. See, okay, for a while, I was constantly out in the field. I haven't been able to go out like I used to, but the more you're out in the field, the more pictures you get, the more audio you get, and you come home, you're just tired, you don't want to fool with like downloading it and filing it and keeping track of it properly. And I'm guilty that for a few years, I'd get all this stuff, and then I'd go home and I'd be tired and I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And then the next day I'm like, I got to work, and life gets to me. And then, we're going back out again. And I'm like, I still have pictures from last time. And then I would dump it all in. And I just wasn't good at keeping good files. So I need to go through and just take like months and just file everything.
Do it over the wintertime. I recommend do it over the wintertime.
Well, wintertime is my ghost hunting time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Speaking of ghost hunters, as you know, my team member Joel Sturgis is a ghost hunter, and we have a group of ghost hunters, the Minnesota Ghostbusters, and and it's cute. They got their jumpsuits, they got proton packs, they have Ecto 1 hearse and stuff like that. And one of the guys that we're taking out this weekend, he is part of the Minnesota Ghost Hunters. He's also, he works for Up North News now, and he is the broadcast director. And he's always wanted to go out into the field. So Pops has talked with him. I called the guy who lined it up. So we're going to be taking him out into the field this weekend and pop his Bigfoot cherry, so to speak. And hopefully, we're going to, not hopefully, but we're going to be going into an area where the Minnesota Iceman was shot.
Oh, that's so cool.
So cool. I'm excited.
That is so cool.
Yeah. It's going to be a great time. I'm stoked, and because Joel, as you know from him being on the show, he's also going to be a speaker talking about the Minnesota Iceman here in Minnesota, and he's done a lot of research into it, and he knows the general area where Hansen shot in it.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be a fun time. Cool. Yeah, but the only down thing is that we have forest fires going on in Minnesota, and we can't. There's a burning ban, so we're not going to have any kind of a bonfire to sit around, which is fine. I'd rather be out on the trail in the field, seeing what we can bring in.
Yeah, 100%. Totally. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Be a lot of fun.
It's going to be good.
So, once again, tell us about your conference. Where people can go to get tickets, who you're going to have, just a rough speaker list.
Absolutely.
Speaker list. Tell us a little bit about this upcoming conference.
So the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference is going to be our seventh conference. Thank you. Yeah. I deserve that one more. It's going to be our seventh conference, and we have a speaker lineup as yourself. You went from guest MC to freaking full-blown speaker. Yeah. Joel Sturgis, a team member of MNBRT, host of After Hours AM. He's also authored a few books. He's going to be talking, as I mentioned, about the Minnesota Iceman. We have Michael Freeman, author of the Freeman Bigfoot Files, coming out, who is son of Paul Freeman from the Freeman footage, taken back in the 90s. Yes. And we have Renee Holland from NL Planet's show, Finding Bigfoot, coming out as well. So tickets are on sale right now at eventbrite.com. We also have 3-day VIP packages, which include giving you guys the opportunity to come and eat with the dinners. Eat dinners with the speakers. I am on one for some reason. And after that is followed by a Bigfoot hike where I personally was following Wood Knox. I personally heard Ric Flair out in the woods after doing the Ohio Haul. It's quite, woo, woo.
That's awesome.
It wasn't a Ric Flair, yeah. Where we've had possible Bigfoot activity and sightings and footprints in yards around this area as well.
Nice.
And then also the day of the conference, you get to sit right in front of the stage in the center aisle. And on Sunday, the speaker breakfast and stuff like that. So to inquire about the 3-day VIP packages, send the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference Facebook page a message us through that page. It's going to be a great time, family event, raffles, Bigfoot calling contests. You get to meet some pretty amazing speakers as well. Meet some of the team members that come and hang out, and it's just going to be an all-around great family fun event and stuff too. So again, that's awesome. At eventbrite.com at the Timberlake Lodge and Hotel in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. So like God. So
I recommend
October
also,
3rd. Yes.
Oh yes, October 3rd.
Yep.
Yes. So I also recommend people go check out the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team on Facebook. You might be able to find out some more information about the conference there as well if you post about it on there. In addition, my conference, the Irons Michigan Bigfoot Conference, August 15th and 16th. Scan the QR code to get your tickets. And it's going to be fun. We have speakers like Jay Pachochin. We got Gina Splitstatzer, Dana Joe, Bob Limley, Jeannie Mays, and Robin Hayes. So It's going to be a fun time. It's really targeted to be a family friendly fun event. We're going to have kids tables. We have a Bigfoot reporting booth. We'll have lots of merch to buy from, and it's just going to be a fun time. So
Yeah,
get your
it is.
tickets. Vendor spots are still available. No VIB tickets because it's going to be an up close and personal event where you'll have a chance to talk to speakers at any given moment throughout the conference. So, it's going to be fun. So
Yay.
check out both conferences. Also, I additionally will be speaking. So I will also be speaking at the Irons Michigan Bigfoot Conference as well as emceeing. So if you want to come hear my presentation, get your tickets.
You're gonna be busy.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy time. Oh my gosh! But all right, well, thank you everyone for joining on the chat. We are back every week. We just took a couple weeks off, so make sure you join us next week for another great time together, and we'll see you next week.
Squatch on.
Bye.